Hi, I am Natasha Devon, local professional actor, last seen in The Royale here at TheatreSquared. When I'm not acting, you've probably seen me working in the box office. Along with my acting, I have a background as a writer with an emphasis in poetry. I serve as the poetry coach for our summer stage here at TheatreSquared. So, I have a few questions. Let's get started. When did you know you wanted to be a performer and what was your first production? So, believe it or not, when I first went to school, I wanted to be a lawyer. I actually have an associate's degree in pre law. I did a few years of that, and once I got my associate's degree, I was like, I don't want to do this. And so I kind of eased my way into the artistic realm through my writing. And I auditioned for some plays, and it kind of like took off from there. But my first production was The Good Doctor by Neil Simon. It's like some short skits of a bunch of Chekhov plays, which right now, the world we live in seems very Chekhovian. Second question. Do you have a favorite backstage moment at Theater Squared? Oh, that's really hard because honestly, we have so much fun at Theater Square. So it's really hard to pinpoint one. But I will say that one of the things we do at Theater Square that I really enjoy is before each production, we have a meet and greet with the cast and the directors and the designers and all the artistic people who come into town to put on these amazing plays. And I love that part because I get to meet people, like even if I'm not an actor in that particular production, I get to meet these different people and hear about their stories and their background and kind of form an instant family for as long as they're here with us in Arkansas. And question number 3. There was a workshop performance of your one-person show, Ain't I a Woman? What was that experience like? What is it like performing a piece you wrote? Yes, so last year I was in the New Play Festival with my one person show, Ain't I a Woman? And honestly, that had to be one of the best experiences that I've had as an actor. The director and myself and the dramaturge, we took a small class assignment play that was 30 minutes long. And by the time the festival was over, it was an hour and 15 minutes. That was still with a book in hand. So I had so much fun just getting feedback and listening to the characters from others' point of views and getting to put it up on his feed and people who saw it week 1 versus week 2 and all the amazing comments they would have. And even at the end of the festival, I still had room to grow my show. I still had places that I could take it. So that was amazing for me. What is it like performing my own work? It's fun. It's tiring because sometimes the writer me will write something down that performer me is like, that is so much work. Why did I structure that in that way? But I get to fight with myself and wear 2 different hats. So I actually like performing my own work because I get to give the audience whatever message that I want them to receive in whatever moment or whatever scene. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about being an artist. And because I am a writer, I get to write it. And as an actor, I get to see it come to life and be a part of the full journey. And so that's always a blessing. Next question. Do you think your experience as a writer helps you as a performer? How? Yes, I think so. I think that because I am a writer, I have so much respect for language and words and how we use them in moments to heal, to attack, to defend, to it's just I really admire language. And because I am a writer, I put it upon myself as an actor to always respect the script. Like I want to be the first person in the room. That's off book. I want to respect the punctuation that the writer put. That comma is for a reason. That period is for a reason. And I think that because I'm a writer, I take the extra time to respect that because I want people to respect my material in the same manner. And in one area that I think it's helped me the most because of that respect for just language is in Shakespeare. Anyone knows me knows I'm obsessed with Shakespeare. But that respect for language and how it drives things, it allows me to better understand the text and what I'm saying, and it makes it easier for me to deliver to an audience and in a scene. So I definitely think that being a writer has helped me as an actor, and I think vice versa, because sometimes as an actor you'll get a script and you're like, oh, why does this like this, why didn't they do it that way? But because I am an actor, I have an actor's brain, so then I know what would make a scene easier for an actor to connect to drive a moment, to hold a beat and things of that nature. I think that because I'm able to flip hats in both spaces, I'm able to think it's both, and I think it just makes me a stronger artist overall. Last question. Is there a difference between performing a monologue and a poem? Yes, there is a difference between performing a monologue and a poem. So with a monologue, you are striving to get something. There is something in this moment that you want. And because there's something in this moment you want, you have to play, you have to play action. Like that is your main thing when you're acting a monologue. However, when you're performing a poem, the language kind of speaks for itself. And so there isn't a need to play action, because I feel like with poetry, me in particular, I won't speak for any other poets, me in particular, with poetry, I want an audience member to interpret things in the way that they interpret them. And with the monologue, it's straightforward. This is the message, this is what's going on. But with poetry, I don't want to drill in or play a lot of action. I just want you to listen to the story, listen to the words, listen to the metaphor, and what you take from that is what you take, because I feel like in that situation, what we take from poetry, whether we understand it or acknowledge it, whatever we take from poetry is what we need in that moment. And sometimes we don't even know that that's the thing we need, or that's the thing we need to hear, or that's the thing we need to interpret. So with a poem, I don't like to stir a person's emotion and lead them to what I think they should feel. Versus in a monologue, when there is a given circumstance, there is a partner on stage with you, there is something that you're fighting for in that moment. And in monologues, you have the ability to change something. With a poem, you don't. With the poem, it is exactly what it is. So now it's up to you to pull whatever you want from that. I do, however, think that being an actor has benefited my poetry, and it allows me to paint pictures in a more vivid manner than a poet without an acting background does. And it looks like that is all of my questions. This is actually really, really fun. So our first poetry prompt will be up next. I'm super, super excited to hear what you guys have to offer. See you later. Bye. We know that everyone is in quarantine, but we don't want that to be an excuse for you to stop your creative flow. So we're going to be sending different prompts of different style of art so that you can do it at home. I am an actor, but I have an extremely large background in poetry, and my first poetry prompt for you all is a poetry piece about isolation. What does isolation mean to you? What does it mean to be alone by yourself and with your thoughts? And what does that mean for the type of art that you create? Here is my piece, and I hope to hear yours soon. I stood in front of the mirror, rolled out of bed after my dreams whisked me into my day. I sat on my balcony overlooking the sky as the morning swallowed the night. I talked to God without fear of interruptions, of comings and goings. He whispered through the wind, "My child, I miss you." I clenched the cross around my neck, remembered how to love myself past the stage and the applause. In this isolation, I am learning that my shadow is simply the parts of my spirit that was way too big to be contained. So they spilled out of my body and trailed behind me, almost as if to say that even on days when your head hangs to the ground, your shadow is looking back up at you because you are the answer. On my own, on my today, without a man giving me permission, I felt beautiful. Not in the way of my reflection, but in the way I carry my grandmother's promise and my father's conviction. And as I come to realize all the things I've missed, I often wonder, maybe God was trying to tell us something in the solitude, trying to kill off something in the virus. Thank you so very much, and I can't wait to hear you all's poetry. Bye!